You know Malawi. Our politics is like a telenovela written by witches and lawyers working overtime. One day, a president is making speeches about peace and unity. The next, he's dodging bullets like he's in an action movie. The story we are unpacking today, Malawi president almost killed and why it's hard to arrest former President Chakwera, has left tongues wagging from Lilongwe to Blantyre, from Zuzu to the WhatsApp groups where everyone suddenly becomes a political analyst. A near assassination attempt, old grudges, legal gymnastics, and a game of political hide and seek. This story has it all. But don't blink, because every second here reveals how fragile power can be in our beloved Malawi. So, today I'll break this chaos into 7 revelations, each one peeling back a layer of truth, corruption, and the sweet art of surviving politics the Malawian way. So, tighten your seatbelts, grab your maheu or chibuku, whichever fuels your mind, and let's dive in, because this is not just news. This is Malawi Unfiltered on full volume. The first thing that shook the nation, the Malawi president almost got killed. Yes, you heard me right. Not threatened, not warned, but almost taken out. Reports whispered through corridors faster than the latest football gossip. An attack, sudden, strategic, and meant to silence. The president's convoy was allegedly ambushed, with shots fired or sabotage suspected. Security scrambled. Within hours, the internet exploded. What's happening in Lilongwe? Is this real? Who's behind it? Here's the twist. In Malawi, when bullets fly, they rarely travel alone. Every shot carries a message. This one said, "You are not untouchable." Now, the tension goes beyond fear. It's symbolism. In our politics, power is survival. When a sitting president nearly gets killed, it's not just about bullets. It's about who gains if he falls. Was it personal revenge, political retribution, or an old debt finally collecting interest? Malawians know this game. We've seen coups dressed as corruption cleanups and resignations dressed as health reasons. When an assassination happens, it's never random. Someone benefits. Security sources whispered that the attackers had knowledge of the route, suggesting an inside hand. And that's when speculation exploded. Because if someone inside the system helped plan it, the problem isn't the shooter, it's the whole structure. But let's be honest. In Malawi, when leaders start shaking, everyone else gets nervous. Cabinet ministers stop sleeping, bodyguards check their mirrors twice, and citizens say, we've seen this movie before. The president escaped, barely, but politically, the damage was done. He now works with extra guards and trust has left the building. Transition. But if surviving the bullets is hard, imagine surviving justice. Because the man they now whisper about, former President Lazarus Chakwera, walks free, untouched. And arresting him, that's a whole new war. You see, Malawi's legal system is like Nsima. It takes time to thicken, and if you rush it, it falls apart. And that's exactly why Chakwera is walking around like a man whose shoes never touch the mud. He's shielded by immunity laws that protect former presidents from prosecution for things done while in office. In theory, it's meant to stop witch hunting, but in reality, it turns into a bulletproof vest for the powerful. You can't just wake up, sign a warrant, and drag a former president out of his mansion. Nope. You'll need parliament to approve it, the courts to greenlight it, and the attorney general to cross-check it twice before sunset. By then, my friend, the suspect has probably fled to Zomba for private prayer. And don't forget the political cost. Arresting a former president in Malawi isn't just legal, it's emotional. You'd be poking the hornet's nest of his loyalists, church allies, and those who still believe Papa Chakwera was sent by God himself. It's like trying to arrest your village chief. Even if he stole the goats, people will say, but he gave us rain last year. That's the trap. Legal protection plus public sympathy equals political paralysis. And the current government knows that any reckless move could spark chaos. Besides, the courts move slower than the Blantyre traffic at 5 p.m. Even if a case starts, by the time it ends, people have moved on to new scandals. So for now, Chakwera sits quietly, not hiding, not running, just existing in that sweet zone between untouchable and unbothered. Transition. But let's be real. Immunity only works if the walls are loyal. And Chakwera's walls, they are built with loyalty thicker than wet cement.
Now, let's talk about what really keeps Chakwera safe. Not lawyers, not the Constitution, but loyalty. Even after leaving office, the man is still guarded by networks, old allies, military officers, and police commanders who owe him favors. In Malawi, power doesn't die after the inauguration. It just moves to a new address. Sources say some within the security apparatus still see Chakwera as their real leader. You know that uncle who left the family home but still controls who eats what? That's him. So imagine this. A warrant is issued. Police are sent. But the officers receiving the order were promoted under Chakwera's term. Are they really going to storm his compound? Or will they delay for verification? You see, in African politics, loyalty doesn't retire. It lingers. And sometimes it hides behind prayer meetings and family dinners. Plus, Chakwera has mastered the art of soft power. He's still the pastor president, respected in religious circles, quoted by bishops, adored by a quiet section of the population who say, he may have failed, but at least he spoke with scripture. That kind of reverence is dangerous because it disarms accountability. And for the current leadership, it's like walking on glass barefoot. You can't confront him without bleeding politically. This explains why the state tiptoes, watching, investigating, but never striking, because one wrong move could split the army of public opinion. And as they say in Dinande, you can't fight a man whose shadow still stands at State House. Transition, but loyalty alone doesn't explain everything. There's also strategy, and that's where the game turns from protection to manipulation. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Arresting Chakwera wouldn't just be hard. It could break the country in half. Malawi's political climate is like a pot of porridge on high heat. Too much stirring and it spills over. And that's what the current leadership fears most: chaos. See, to one half of Malawians, Chakwera is the villain, the man whose administration sank the economy, silenced critics, and fumbled opportunity. But to others, he's still Father Lazarus, the reformer who fought corruption and prayed with passion. That divide makes any move against him instantly controversial. Arrest him, and you're accused of vengeance. Leave him, and you're accused of weakness. Either way, someone screams betrayal. The current president knows this. One misstep and the opposition will cry political witch hunt. Then the donors panic, the diplomats issue statements, and before you know it, you're trending on BBC for undermining democracy. And let's not forget Malawi's habit of forgetting. Today, people demand arrests. Tomorrow, they're dancing at a rally, shouting slogans for the same politicians they cursed last week. Politics here is survival theater. Chakwera knows it, Uterika knows it, and the people watching on WhatsApp definitely know it. So what do? They play the long game. Wait, watch, and weaponize timing. Because in this game, the one who acts emotionally loses. And trust me, in the long way, nobody wants to be the headline, President jails preacher, country erupts. Transition, but hey, don't think Chakwera is just sitting quietly knitting sweaters in his retirement home. No, my friend. This man planned ahead. And his next move? That's where part 2 begins.
Now, here's where we enter the mind of the man himself, Lazarus Chakwera. See, this man didn't just wake up and say, I'll retire. No, he retired strategically. Before leaving State House, insiders say he quietly placed people like chess pieces across institutions, in the judiciary, in ministries, even in parastatos. Each appointment was not random. Each handshake was insurance. He knew what was coming: investigations, backlash, questions about the plane crash, whispers about corruption, and he played long before the game even started. So now, every time the government thinks, let's charge him, someone inside whispers, wait, that file isn't ready. It's classic Malawian politics: delay until people forget. And here's the thing, Chakwera might not be shouting on podiums anymore, but make no mistake, his influence is everywhere. He's like that perfume you smell in a room even after the person left hours ago. Even the opposition doesn't fully trust themselves because they know the man has information, sensitive, dangerous information on everyone who smiled in his face. So what does he do now? He plays humble, appears prayerful, smiles at church events. But behind that calm face is a strategist who knows one move too early can kill you and one move too late can bury you. Malawi loves a quiet fighter, and that's exactly what he's become. Silent, but calculating. Transition. But his silence has a shadow, and that shadow walks with the ghost of Vice President Saulos Chilima. Let's rewind to the heartbreak that still makes Malawians shiver, the Chikangawa plane crash. June 2024. A nation awoke to devastating news. Vice President Saulos Chilima was gone. The aircraft carrying him and others crashed in Chikangawa forest. No survivors, no closure, no peace. The government's official report said it was bad weather. But the people, they said, something doesn't smell right here. Because Chilima wasn't just any politician, he was the rising star. Charismatic, sharp, loved across tribes, and just when his political wings were spreading wide, he fell from the sky, literally. Rumors flooded like rain in March. Some said the plane's tracking system was tampered with. Others said military orders delayed the search. Then whispers came, maybe Chilima knew too much. Now, whether these claims are true or not, one fact remains. The public never fully believed the official story. And in politics, perception is reality. For Chakwera, that crash became a shadow that follows him everywhere. Even in sermons or public prayers, you can feel it, the tension. Because many still ask, did he do enough? Did he care enough? Or did he benefit from the silence? And for the current president, this tragedy is also political dynamite. If he probes too deep, he looks vengeful. If he ignores it, he looks complicit. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation. People in Zimba still say, Chikangawa never forgets. And honestly, neither does Malawi. The crash left scars in the nation's soul, and whether Chakwera likes it or not, that ghost keeps knocking on the door of his legacy. Transition. But timing is everything, and Chakwera, he knows how to use timing like a drumbeat to control who dances and who falls. Here's the grand finale, the last revelation. Timing. Chakwera might not have bullets, but he has time management skills that could make a watch jealous. He exited power just as the storm was forming, before legal reforms could touch him, before public anger could solidify, before rivals could gather real evidence. Now, with a new administration in power, the system is reset. Everyone's busy chasing new scandals, new crises, new headlines. And what does Chakwera do? He disappears into respectful silence, letting time wash away accountability. In Malawi, we call that kutikitantawi, play with time until people forget. Meanwhile, his loyalists are slowly rewriting his image. They say he was misunderstood, he was a peacemaker, he left because he respected democracy. It's the soft rebranding of history, the political makeup session. And the new president? He's cautious. He knows one wrong move could turn Chakwera into a martyr. Because remember, Malawi has a strange relationship with former leaders. We love to hate them in power, then love to mourn them out of it. Ask anyone in Sanje or Dedza, they'll tell you politics here is like a maize field. Burn it today, it will sprout again next season. So yes, the president might have survived the assassination attempt, but Chakwera, he survived the system. He's no longer fighting for votes, he's fighting for memory. And as long as people keep debating his innocence or guilt, his legacy breathes. Transition to conclusion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how power in Malawi never dies. It just changes address sometimes, from State House to the shadows. So what have we learned? That in Malawi, politics is not about who wins the election, it's about who wins the aftermath. The president might have dodged death, but he's walking through a minefield of distrust. And Chakwera, though out of office, remains a ghost in every room of power. Between bullets, immunity, loyalty, and history, we see one truth. Malawi's democracy is young, bruised, and still learning how to balance justice with peace. As citizens, we must stop treating leaders like gods who can't be questioned and start demanding systems that protect people, not personalities. Because as it stands, our leaders survive storms not through integrity, but through strategy. And one day, maybe one day, Malawi will write a new script where accountability is not an ambush and justice doesn't need bodyguards. Until then, we stay watching, analyzing, and telling it as it is. No sugarcoating, no fear, no messy. Hey, this story, my people. It's heavy, but it's ours. Now tell me, do you think Chakwera should be arrested or left alone? Do you believe that assassination attempt was a coincidence or something deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Be honest, be bold. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more truth, more heat, and more Global Pulse News energy every week. Like the video, share it across WhatsApp groups, and tag your cousin who always thinks he's a political expert. Let's debate this Malawian style. This is your boy from Global Pulse News, signing off loud, sharp, and unapologetic.